Hello everyone, it's Catherine from my hillside garden. We're going to do some winter sowing today. I wanted to show two of the containers that I'll be using. And you don't just have to use milk jugs for winter sowing. You can use anything, and it could have a label like this, but we're lucky with this one. This one has a label, so I'm just going to use a razor to get the label off. But you could leave it on, it would still work. So we're going to take that off. And on this one, this label I can't peel off. So it will stay on, it will still work. The one trick that I wanted to be sure that everyone knew before you cut your bottles, make sure you drill your holes. Once you make your cut on your bottle, it makes it very difficult to get the holes in there. I'm just going to do one hole. I'm not going to make you suffer through all of them. But I make 4 or 5 holes on the bottom of each container. And since the container has, I hope it shows up, see how it's got that little like dip that goes into the bottle? I'll also put a hole in the bottom on the high part. And then I also put another hole about 2 inches up the side of the container. I always worry that once I've taken the lids off, and if there's a lot of rain, like there was this past year, that these are just going to get swamped. So that extra hole gives me a safety net, so I know that everything won't get drowned out. So let me get some of these holes done, and then we'll get on to the next step. I've made the holes. I don't know if you could see them. There we go, right there. And then there's some on the bottom. And I also took one of the, you could use opaque, that will work as well, so the milk jugs, excuse me, you just can't use the white ones, the solid white ones, but you can use the opaque ones. I've seen people even use the green soda bottles and they've worked fine. So the next thing I'm going to do is about 2/3 of the way up. I'm going to cut 3/4 of the way around each container. And what that does is it'll leave a little hinge, and that way you'll be able to fill it with the soil, put your seeds in, your tag in, close it back up, and tape it up. So let me get the cuts made on that. This one, as you can see, I cut about 2/3 of the way around. Try and get you the best view. So now there's a little hinge there. Okay, one thing I will mention, be very careful with whatever sharp instrument you're using. Make sure you don't have it pointed toward yourself. And each container is a little bit different. This one's a little bit harder, this one's softer, and this one is really soft. So it'll be much easier to do the other ones than it was to do this one. So just be careful when you're using something sharp. That one was really easy to do. And there's the last one. So let me get everything else ready, and I'll bring you back. What I wanted to remind you of is if you're going to winter sow, it may be a little bit late to think about this now, but I know some of the big box stores have gotten in their supplies for planting. I try to prepare in the fall for my winter sowing now. So I always make sure that I have an extra bag of either seeding mix, compost, cocoa coir. What I'm using right now is the Just Naturals organic garden soil, the one that I really like to use. And I've put some of that into this container. Okay, I did wet it down a little bit. I keep a spray bottle here by me so that I could wet everything down. You want it to be nice and moist. And then what we're going to put in this milk jug, I'm going to do some milkweed this year. Now I've had these seeds for a while, so I'm hoping they'll still be viable. If not, I'm really not out of anything because I can still use the soil. And if I want, I can save the container and use it again for next year. So I have some world milkweed, and this is a native to the eastern United States. It's a perennial, it's a hardy perennial that grows 12 to 24 inches tall and blooms in July through September. Then I also have swamp milkweed, which is also a native to the eastern and central United States. It grows 36 to 48 inches tall and blooms June to August. So hopefully they'll grow. I think I don't know for sure if they bloom the first year, but at least we'll have blooms and plants for the butterfly, the monarch butterfly, from, it looks like, June till about October or September. So let's get those planted. The recommended depth is 1/4 of an inch, 3 seeds per hole, and it takes 10 to 20 days for them to germinate. Now the nice part about winter sowing is nature knows when to grow. So even though I'm going to take these and put them outside, and they're going to get rained on, and they're going to get snowed on, and they're going to freeze, today's only 30 degrees right now, nature will tell these when to sprout, and I don't have to hold up space in the grow room. I have my markers made already, and I just put the name and the date that I'm planting them. And what do we say? 1/8 of an inch deep, and these are the swamp milkweed. So we're going to put these over here, and I think I'm going to put in 6 holes. If we could get 6 plants, that would be great. About 1/4 of an inch deep. Here are the seeds. They have a little bit, it looks like a little bit of a coating on them. Hope you can see them okay. And I'm going to put 2 in each hole, just to be sure. Because as I said, they are a little bit old. They're from 2014, so I'm hoping that we'll have at least a 50% germination rate. Don't be afraid to do that. You know, if you have a pack of old seeds, you could always try winter sowing them. If you don't want to use up space in your grow room or your grow area, put them in a container, put them outside. If you get them, it's a bonus. If you don't, you're not out anything. Now we're going to put in the world milkweed, and we're going to do 6 of those also. And let's see. Oh, these are smaller. Oh, these are tiny. Okay, I think that's it. I don't even know if we'll get 6, but can you see how much smaller they are in comparison to the other ones? So let's see, hopefully, I think we're only going to get 1 seed per hole with this one, if we get 6. But that's okay. I'll be happy to get 1 plant, because these are on the invasive side. That's why there aren't many around. The farmers tend to get rid of them, because they don't want them. And that's why the butterflies have had such a problem. Okay, let's get the rest of these. I don't even know if this part's seed, but we'll fill that 6th hole. And then we're going to give them a good water, and we'll get on to the next step. I've covered up the seeds. I've given them a pretty good water. You could probably see, I don't know, can you notice you could see the moisture in there. And we're going to close this up. Now, there are different ways to do this. This is just the way I do it. As you do your winter sowing, you'll find what works best for you. I don't like to waste, and I feel that using duct tape all the way around is a bit of a waste. I have clear packing tape. I've been using it for several years now. I haven't had an issue with it. I use a small piece. See, that's about it. Can you see that? I hope so. And I usually do it on 2 sides. I try to line them up as best as I can. And we don't want them to be wet. That's one thing I should have been a little bit more careful about. And then I just put the piece on 2 of the sides. Sometimes I might do it on another side. I'll just make this piece smaller, because it's just being used to hold the sides closed. Now, the other thing you need to think about is your cap. Cap on, cap off. I will probably leave the cap on for the next 2 months or so. I will be checking on them Maybe not every day, but at least once a week, especially if the weather changes and gets very warm, because we've had some days, sunny days in the 50s, which means it would get rather warm in here. So be sure that you put them somewhere where you could check on them frequently. You know, either look out your side door, your back door, your kitchen window, or whatever, just to see what's going on with them. Then come probably late February, early March, I will be sure to take the cap off. It will allow more air to go out and regulate the temperature inside. It will also allow either rain or snow to fall in the top. Everybody has their own opinion. That's just what I do. So please be sure to look at some more videos on winter sowing. There are tons of them on YouTube. There are great creators. They each do it basically the same way. Some use different containers, some use different kinds of soil, some like one thing, some like the other. Choose what you like to do or what you feel comfortable with doing. Like I said, what have you got to lose? You'll still have soil in the end if you don't end up with flowers. So this is the way that I do the winter sowing. And like I said, part of the reason why I'm doing it, and I've done it in the past, is because I'm running out of room in my grow room on my shelves. So I will be doing more winter sowing this year, because every year when I've winter sowed, I've been successful, I'd say probably 80% of the time. And the other 20%, either I know the seeds were a little bit old, or the weather got me off guard, or I was away and wasn't home to take the caps off or to water if it got too dry. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll give winter sowing a try. I think you'll be able to do it and be successful. It's so easy. Just make sure you have some soil, try it with your seeds. And the other thing that I would suggest is anything that you know that grows in your yard on its own as a volunteer will grow in one of these. And this way, at least you know where it is and you can transplant it. So have a good day. Enjoy whatever it is you're doing. And happy gardening. Give me a thumbs up if you like today's video. Bye.